Hello, everybody. I'm Mike.
And I'm Ray.
And this is the Know Nothings podcast number
53.
53.
Wow,
We're doing
53.
good.
We're getting close. We're going to be at 100 before we can blink.
We got to do more if we're going to be at 100.
Well, we keep doing more. We've done 53 of them. So.
I know. We got it. Well, you know, lost my space to do this in. So once I get the building and everything put together in the actual studio, then we'll be able to crank them out.
Yeah, I like the pace at which we go at a good pace for people without sponsors, which is the pace that we want to go at. We go when we want to go. We're not beholding to anybody.
I could get a sponsor here or there, and then we could do one a week or something if they just give me $10. $10.
$10, I'd take care of your six-pack.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, I got to pay you for my six-pack. Thank you for stopping by.
You pay me with your time, Mike. You pay me with your company. It's all the compensation a man can need.
That's how I pay a lot of people with my company. Wink, wink.
So you would fit right in with what old Cat Williams has got going on in Hollywood, then, right?
I wouldn't fit in with them.
Would you wear the dress, Mike?
No, I wouldn't wear the dress. I'd say that now, but if I'm in like a big major movie and they're paying me millions of dollars if I put this dress on, I might be like, man, I'm gonna make this shit funny. I don't know. How much more money are you giving me?
Knowing what you know now, would you just say no? I'm not doing that.
What do I know now? They want to just make you look bad by putting you in a dress.
Well, I think particularly with black men, the theory seems to be that we're going to emasculate you as much as possible, and we're going to take this masculine energy away from you, and we're forcing you into this dress. If you look at what Kat showed was just like the innumerable amount of strong black men that were put into a dress, but it's not just black men. White men definitely.
They did. Well, yeah.
Okay, here's
Robin Williams did a whole bunch of movies in dresses.
Here's the deal.
Right?
It's about them feminizing the whole world and making everything okay and making everything. It's about the agenda, right? So this is the theory of.
I thought that it was more like an initiation into that group of people, like the Illuminati or whatever you want to call it.
Okay, it's part that is right. What do you think they're using that as an initiation for? It's about programming. You watch programs literally.
Right.
They're called.
It's literally called programming.
It's literally called a program. Okay, so if you start putting all these, if you put these strong black masculine men in dresses, it starts normalizing things. Okay, that's what the Illuminati wants. You got to connect all the dots. It's not just about somebody in a dress. I had somebody on a video I made about this talking about well, I mean, kind of what you said. They're they're just actors being actors wearing a dress. And it's I guess
Why I said it.
Yeah. I guess, yeah. I didn't think, and I was thinking when that guy said that, it was man, if this is your first day on Earth, then that's a valid argument, right? Oh, yeah, it's just actors being actors. This has been going on for 100 years. Where this is not I don't think this is something that happened in 2005. They started.
Well, let's say, would you wear the dress?
No. 100%.
100% no?
No.
Not a fame whore.
I used to say this back in the 90s, and people used to go, no, bro, you're just saying that. I used to say man, in relation to say boy bands or something, or terrible music, or not terrible music, because music is subjective, right? Or yeah.
Well, yeah. I guess.
But I used to say
thank God.
And some of the hairband stuff and some of the lyrics I've been I would never do that. And somebody's I bet if somebody paid you $3 million, you'd put gel in your hair and dance. And I was no, I promise I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I
probably
was
wouldn't do
because art at its core is so much about integrity. Once the integrity is pulled out of art, it's no longer art, it's product.
Right.
And that makes sense to some people. It doesn't make sense to some people.
It makes 100% sense to me.
Yeah.
It's let's say when we had our deal years and years and years ago, if a guy would have walked out of a back room and be all right, guys, this is what we're gonna do. Everybody's gonna wear a red jumpsuit.
And you're all gonna do choreographed dance.
You're gonna do choreographed dancing while you're playing your metal music, and we're gonna call it bubblegum metal. And you're gonna be the first guys to do it. Everybody's gonna. We would have been half the band would have been out of the room after wear bubblegum metal.
We're not doing that, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of the same deal. Like Chappelle put it real eloquently when he was talking about. He's when you've seen that interview, I'm sure, with Chappelle when he talks about the dress,
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and he's I'm just not doing it. I I don't think it's funny. I think it's kind of hacky. Just not doing. They're like, oh, it's such a great bit. All the greats have done it. All the greats. He's like, well, if all the greats have done it, it's kind of hacky, right?
Right. Let's do something else.
Let's just do something else, and they just keep pushing it. And Cat was talking about it with the rape scene.
Right.
Now, did you hear Ice Cube? You heard about what he said about the rape scene? How he rewrote it.
I didn't hear what Ice Cube said about that.
But you saw what Cat said about
yes.
it, right? So
I watched that whole Cat Williams
thing. It was
thing.
so damn good.
So good.
Shannon Sharp. Not like he needs any more press now, but Club Shay Shay, great. I was watching Club Shay Shay before.
Well, I will tell you that he was having a hard time, like with what he was saying there, because he was just like, "Oh God," because he's got to have those guys back on the podcast.
Well, those were like friends of his.
But then like Cat was like, "You're going to be pushed off into a realm you know nothing about after this,"
and he was right.
It's like how many days later, and the views went from. I think there's. I don't want to be wrong. I think I saw
it's
today.
over
it was like
40 million.
It's over. Yeah, I thought it was like 60 million views or over. It's over.
At day
40.
2, it was like at 39 million.
Yeah,
it was
crazy
and insane.
And he was like, "You gonna get me in trouble?" And he's like, "No, you're gonna be shot into a realm of what you." That's so great.
Shannon Sharp was talking about. He's like all these guests he's had on. He's like, I had this person, it was like 5 million views. This person 6 million. This person 3 million. This person 9 million. And those are good numbers for a podcast. I mean, those are great numbers. But then this one's going to be 100 million. On day 2, it had over 1 billion impressions between like Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, TikTok Stories. Over 1 billion.
Well, he said a lot of shit. 2024 coming in hard.
And I've been thinking 2024 might be the year of truth. A lot of shit's getting exposed.
Well, he said it.
So Ice Cube's rebuttal, and it may have been because Ice Cube's like, no, we never wrote a rape scene in there. He's like, I don't roll like that. It wouldn't be something I would do. And Ice Cube's got a lot of credibility with me.
Right.
But so does Cat Williams. But the only things, I thought Cat told all truths. The only things he lied about were things that were obvious lies to be funny. Like when he said, I'm damn near 100 years old, and I still run a 4.340.
Yeah.
Well, you never, ever ran a 4.340.
No.
I mean, I know Cat was a good athlete in like junior high or something, but you never ran a 4.340.
He's too busy reading books.
And he's not 100 years old.
You think he read 1,000? You think he read?
No, I think it's hyperbole. I think he read a shit ton of books.
Yeah.
And he said 3,000 a year, which I mean, pretty.
How many of that is a day?
That's kind of like 8.
That's ridiculous.
It's like 8.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like the
just,
that's kind of like the 4.340. Like if I was trying to explain to you, and I mean I do that too. If I'm telling a story, I think that I understand that you're going to get what I'm saying. But if I'm telling a story, I'm be like, man, I was a voracious reader when I was like in elementary. I must have read like 5,000 books. I don't expect you to literally think that I meant 5,000 or that I count. I'm trying to illustrate that I read a bunch of books.
Yeah, I've read a lot. When I was little, I read a lot. I do not have an IQ of 163 like Cat Williams, but it's like I've always told.
Almost no one has an IQ of 163.
Oh, I know. Who? Donald Trump and Barack Obama. No, Donald Trump and Barack Obama are the presidents that have the biggest IQs, the highest IQs. Donald Trump's self-professed.
That's because we saw that on the internet.
No, like what I keep telling people.
We saw that on the internet.
I always have this conversation. It's like, man, I could get up there and act like a dumb weed head in a movie. Yes, but do you have a very high IQ and like you can't even get off the couch, motherfucker. You're not working towards it. If you want to do that, then be an actor and go do it. But like these people that act like that are smart, capable, hard-working people at their craft that they want to do, and some people are so dumb they see them on the screen and they're like, "How'd this dummy playing a weed head on TV make it?" It's like that's because it's not real, motherfucker. It's TV.
It's a character. I tell people that all the time. I'm like, "Oh yeah," it's like it's super easy. I was like, "Just turn your camera on." Go ahead and pick out a subject you like and just start talking about it and post it on Facebook and watch how many views you're going to get. You're going to get 6.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to be compelling. It's way harder than people give it credit for.
Oh yeah.
And it's hard to be a good storyteller. And sometimes, I mean, you've been around. If you're around a group of people, or you have a group of friends, 20 of them, how many of them are good storytellers? 1 or 2?
1 or 2.
1 or 2.
Yeah. And then everybody else chimes in with theirs, and it's not as great as those 2 guys.
They don't have the same delivery. They don't have the same comedic timing. It's just a thing that some people have and some people don't. Cat has it in spades.
Oh man.
Cat has it in spades.
He wears me out.
Man.
He
doesn't wear me out because I can.
And he like moves constantly, and he's like doing this, and he's like, you know,
he's got to settle in. Sometimes,
there's like a lot of people that are thinking that, like Sean does that when he's talking to you.
Yeah, he does.
Sean's like talking and stuff, and he's not on anything, and he's talking, but his mind's going 1,000 times.
I do it a little bit, but not to the extent of either one of them.
Yeah.
Which means maybe I'm probably not as smart as either one of them, but you know.
Well, you're pretty smart. I am not smart. I am not smart. I don't
Just
even
digested a lot
I
of
used to be
information?
really good at digesting and then being like, here it is. I'm not even good at that anymore. So like it's like, oh, Ray, tell me about that, because I don't know. I do this one thing all day long, and I'm just a pile of mess doing the one thing I do.
So now you forget.
That's
You're
it.
making the widgets. You're too busy making the widgets.
Yeah.
But Ice Cube came back, man. He retorted, and he didn't really retort though. You know, Ricky Smiley with the whole deal remember the big Ricky Smiley deal about Ricky said that he was supposed to be Money Mike.
Yeah.
And then Cat's like, no. Ice Cube went on Ricky Smiley's show, and Ricky tried to get Ice Cube to like validate his story. He's like, tell the people about how I was going to be Money Mike and Cat. I think Cat was supposed to be Santa Claus if I'm not mistaken. And Ice Cube was like, well, I mean, we wanted to make sure you was in the movie, so we had you try out for like different parts, but Ricky had said that he's like they had written Money Mike for him. He was
Right.
He was going to like specifically audition for Money Mike, but he ends up being the Santa Claus. And Ice Cube's like, well, I mean, we wanted you in the movie. We wanted to make sure you was in the movie and didn't get cut out. We had you audition for several parts, and you got the Santa Claus part.
Well, I think
So basically, he just backed up everything Cat said.
Right.
Even without trying to hurt Ricky's feelings. He was like,
right.
Yeah.
Well, that's the move. That's why Ice Cube's in where he is. He's playing that Hollywood game, or that game where you're not too mean to everybody, because somewhere down the road that person could make you money, or you got to deal with them.
Well, Gary,
there may be something come up. You got to deal with them later, so that everybody's super nice in those cliques.
Like Gary, I think Gary Owen, the white comedian, it's about probably close to our age or so, been in the game a long time. I think it's Gary Owen. I don't want to get his name wrong, but did you see his interview about everything? He's like,
no, I haven't had time to look at all.
So he's really good friends with Cat, right? But he's like, I'm also really good friends with Steve Harvey. I'm really good friends with Cedric the Entertainer, and these people could do things for me. So when they cut, I got to be in a situation where if I'm sitting with them and they're talking about Cat, I can just listen to them without saying anything about Cat, because Cat's my man, right? He's like, and if I'm in a room with Cat and Cat starts talking crazy, or not crazy, starts saying things that he was saying about Steve Harvey or Ricky Smiley, I can still sit there and listen, but not participate,
right,
and support him that way. Because I'm not saying what he's saying is right. He was really walking like a.
Well, yeah, he may need him later. He may need that dude later.
That. He's like, I'm not as big as them, any of them. So they're all friends of mine.
Kings of Comedy back in the day, I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, but the point is this shit was stolen.
Oh, it's all stolen.
Well, that's the whole. Yeah, like it was. The point of it that it was.
Well, whoever
that Steve Harvey wouldn't.
It's funny.
Yeah, it's pretty funny, but it's but stealing jokes is like stealing songs, bro. That is like
not the Kings of Comedy stuff back in '90. No, it was. He just got the thing. He got the dates wrong in the beginning, and then they
Cedric the Entertainer stealing his joke from 1998,
yeah,
where he's riding in the '72, and then Cedric made it a spaceship, and it does look stolen. And you can damn sure know that Steve Harvey stole Mark Curry's joke. Steve Harvey straight up stole, or was it? Yeah, yeah.
Get it right.
It was Mark Curry. Remember the Mark Curry show from the 90s?
Yeah.
And Cat said he stole the whole sitcom.
Oh, you're talking about Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Yeah.
That shit was awesome. I love that show.
I did too.
I used to come home and watch Hanging with Mr. Cooper, and then it was like a different world.
I was like 11th or 12th grade probably when that came out.
You had like Hanging with Mr. Cooper, Different World, and Martin.
Yeah.
And well, that one wasn't on right after school. Like
I
remember going home.
Or was it the Friday night?
I remember going home, and in Syndicate it was like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Different World, and then Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
And now look at
and those are awesome.
Now look at everything coming out about Will. You know they're saying Diddy and Will Smith, Fresh Prince.
Oh no,
got the Fresh Prince. Quincy Jones, P. Diddy slept with Will Smith. All this stuff's come about this Will Smith and Jada have lived this crazy jaded life. What about his best friend coming out saying he saw Will Smith getting pounded, bent over the couch?
Oof, I don't know any of this.
Oh yeah, and P. Diddy has slept with apparently Usher, Bieber, Will Smith. He has these freak offs where he gets these male prostitutes to come over. Male prostitutes would sleep with whoever he's dating at the time, and he sits in the corner and plays with himself, and then he jumps in with the males.
This would be shocking if it was 2012.
Yeah, it's not even.
I'm not shocked now.
Nothing's shocking.
I'm just not. What do you mean? A bunch of guys that b-boy rappers that like to write music all were having sex with each other? But then they go on videos and pay women to be in their videos like they're the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
Shocked? I'm not shocked.
And they were still, but they're still sleeping with women. They were, freak offs.
Oh, yeah.
But the people in these
Why
freak
not?
offs, like what about the Reverend T.D. Jakes?
What is it? A mouth to mouth.
T.D. Jakes, the televangelist that loves the Lord.
This is out of control.
He's getting banged by P. Diddy.
This is out of control.
It's way out of control. We're in day 8 of the new year. We've had aliens in Miami. We've had Cat expose all of Hollywood. We've had a new story comes out about who Diddy's sleeping with every other day.
And we've got the list.
Or raping.
And we have the list.
Oh, and don't forget, we got the island list trickling out, 964 pages out, 40 names out. Bill Clinton's all over that thing. Who's shocked? No one's shocked.
No one's shocked. Everyone's just like, oh, yeah. You know, I think the most
and all
shocked.
These things I used to be a little scared to say. I'm not scared to say at all. These people are freaks, and they need to get the hell. They need to get out of the power zone. They need to get out of the way. But here's
how they're doing it.
The whole lot of them.
But here's how they're doing it. They're like, they're on the flight list, Ray. But that doesn't mean that they participated in anything. But they were on the flight list.
Are you not? You're not up on the names that are coming out now, right?
No.
You're not up. You don't sound like you're up on them.
No.
That's not what's happening at all.
That's not it.
No.
What I'm telling you is how everybody's like, oh, well, I'm on the list, but it's like I flew from Santa Cruz to wherever, and I didn't do it. What up, babe?
Here's how you can combat that. If anyone says that in any kind of argument, you can go
careful with that.
With the
don't
green
pull
screen.
down, pull it this way. All right, thank you.
So the way your name is the list they're talking about now. The previous list was flight logs. Okay, the flight logs are kind of meaningless. The flight logs mean I flew on the plane at some point. That could be. And
that could be anything.
I give those people some grace. If your name is appearing now, it's because your name came up in the court proceedings with the people that were actually raped.
Okay.
Your name came out in court, and they said, hey, do you know Mike Hinkle?
No.
And the girl says, I sure do.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
Okay.
Could we not?
Okay, it'll say, the reason your name's coming up, it means your name come up in court. For instance, Donald Trump's name came up, and it's only because the lawyer brought up Donald Trump's name.
Not that he was in it.
And the woman said, never met him, don't know what you're talking about, never seen him. Michael Jackson's name came up only because the lawyer brought his name up.
Oh, really?
So their name... So you could say,
oh my God.
They could say, if they said, did you see Donald Duck on Epstein Island? And the girl says no. The headline's going to read, Donald Duck's name comes out in new Epstein list.
So Trump's the only guy we can vote for then.
And Michael Jackson.
That's all. And Michael Jackson is going to run as the vice president.
Well, no, so far. But so Prince Andrew, when his name comes out, it says.
Got groped.
Not got groped. No, I was told to be raped by Prince Andrew.
Oh, God.
And then Prince Andrew raped me on this day when I was a minor at this time.
Oh, my God.
Just like the P. Diddy thing when the girl says, this guy picked me up and the president of Bad Boy, who wasn't P. Diddy, but his buddy who's the president, picks me up at a...
D. Pitty.
No, that's
D.
not
Pitty.
at all.
He was D. Pitty.
He picks him up and picks this girl up and says to talk to Diddy on the phone. Diddy says, fly. She's a minor now. They fly her to New York. Drug her.
Oh, my God.
Gang rape her.
No way.
Leave her where she can't move. Throw her back on the plane. Fly her back to Minneapolis. She has pictures of where she's in New York City on that day when she was living with her parents as a minor child.
Oh, my God.
It's not people. So when
these people are terrible.
When Prince Andrew's name comes up or somebody's name comes up, that means, hey, somewhere in the court docket, and you can go look online, go through the pages, you find where their name came up, and you can read the page in court, and you can find out if they are a piece of shit or if their name just appeared in the thing. And that's how we get to real truth.
Right.
Bill Clinton's a real scumbag.
Yeah.
Prince Andrew's a real scumbag. Full stop.
Wow. Who else? What about?
There's 110 more to come, I think.
Yeah.
This is not
Stephen Hawking.
Stephen Hawking. His name came up, but only because they mentioned in an email that they mentioned in Stephen Hawking in an email that they would give $1 million if someone could disprove that Stephen Hawking participated in an underage orgy. They sent that to an email back and forth that was subpoenaed for court. Jeffrey Epstein and another fellow, maybe Bill Gates.
So that's the only reason that's in there?
Well, yeah, but why would you be offering $1 million to someone to disprove that Stephen Hawking took place in an underage orgy?
I don't know.
Because Stephen Hawking did participate in an underage orgy, and you're trying to arrange a way for it to be proven false.
Oh my gosh!
Why else would you? All right, think about it. If I sent an email that said you maybe got to take. If I sent an email to a powerful friend of mine and said, "Hey, let's look at $1 million to get Mike's name clear."
Yeah, let's do that.
Would you be thinking Mike's name's in this email because he's innocent?
He's innocent. Yes.
But that's why Stephen's name is up so far in the court proceedings.
Hey, people know me. I'm innocent.
Mike is innocent, by the way. So does that sound like an innocent man to you? It doesn't. Now, I can't say it's 100% guilty.
I don't know. Anybody can say anything and do
but
anything.
But can Jeffrey Epstein say anything to somebody else through email? Is that a normal procedure? Is that anybody saying anything? Is that just two random people on the street?
I'm not taking up for him. I'm just saying it's weird. The dude was like a paraplegic and he couldn't move. What's he doing there?
If he's real, there's
this other thing that says he's not real.
Oh, there's a conspiracy. There's a conspiracy theory there's a conspiracy theory out that Stephen Hawking was just total bullshit.
Really?
Yeah, and
he's not a real person.
Though they say it's all an act. And here the guy had really compelling.
I've got it. It's all bullshit to push fake science that they're pushing as real science on everyone.
I think that's part of the conspiracy, but he didn't go that far into it. But what he did show was Stephen Hawking in like 1984. I'm trying to do it now. I'm not making fun of people with this, but it was a real video of Stephen Hawking, and it was like on the news, and the guy was like, "I'm here with astrophysicist Stephen Hawking," and he was like, and the guy was like, "Stephen says he's digging deeper into the neurobiological methods of the beginning of the and then Stephen Hawking was like and it was right after Star Wars and he would gargle or whatever, and then the guy would go yes there, and he would come up with this elaborate thing. And so the guy doing the conspiracy theory thing, he's like, look at the interviews, like the interviews, it's all he can do to stop from going, this is complete bullshit.
It does sound like bullshit now that I think about it.
He's like, nobody can translate gurgling. The guy is just making noises, and he goes, because it's 1984, we didn't have access to anything. When this is broadcast on the news, everyone's like, oh yeah, this is totally real.
This is real news.
He's like, he just gurgled for 2 seconds, and then this guy spoke for 15 minutes about all this astrophysicist crap, and he's like, it's nonsense. He's like, it's not real. I was like,
it makes a lot of sense to me now that you say that.
It does, but it's so crazy.
Because it's so crazy. It's crazy because
stupid.
it's like, hey, let's get this guy that can't walk or communicate and make him the smartest motherfucker on the planet.
Exactly.
And nobody can say shit. It's like, hey, look, he wrote this book called A Brief History of Time or whatever, and it's like nobody can say shit
because who's going to say something about a handicapped guy?
Because his condition. Who's going to go, that's bullshit, Steven? Me? I'm handicapped. And it's like, oh, no, yeah, but I totally get it.
You got to watch the video. I mean, he literally just gurgles.
Dude, that makes so much sense.
And then the dude just spews, just goes on and on.
Well, it's kind of like Greta Thunberg with the whole thing where she's kind of like, she looks like she's kind of on the spectrum, right?
Totally.
She's got the whole thing going on.
And she's only.
And so you can't go, and they made her. Like when she came out with all that, wasn't she like a minor? So you can be like, "Fuck you, Greta."
Yeah,
like,
and
hey,
why
man,
would
she's a minor? Stop.
When have we ever given this much attention to a 16-year-old's opinion? She didn't even she wasn't even like an influencer. Like she was out of nowhere. We care about this high school sophomore's opinion on climate change. Get the fuck out of here. Mm-hmm. Who gives a shit? And I'm supposed to care more about her opinion? I'm supposed to care more about this kid's opinion than anybody else's?
Right.
I'm not saying she's wrong or right. I don't
it's just farcical.
It's farcical.
It's been produced. It's been produced 100%.
100%. That's a plan. Obviously,
so everybody's like, you can't say that
because you can't say anything about a kid, and you couldn't say anything about Stephen Hawking.
You couldn't say anything about it either.
And I watched a 10-minute deal on this, and I'm like, man, How does this? I was like, I must not be very smart because this never dawned on me. And it's so obvious. But
it didn't
ever
even-
since I knew Stephen Hawking, he had a voice box, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
we are not near the end
But he
of
got the computer.
But this is pre-voice box. So it was just all they had to do was gurgling. And he almost looked fake, Mike. Like he very much looked like he was acting.
I wish
Now,
I could say that I read that book, but I haven't read that book.
Well, you know,
I
now,
read Neil deGrasse Tyson's book over and over. It puts me to sleep at night. The brief history of whatever.
well, do you know now?
Not a brief.
Well-
No. The what is Neil deGrasse? What's that book I read? Astrophysics for People in a Hurry.
Yeah.
Like when I want to go to bed really fast, I just start reading that, and about a page and a half in, I'm like, I'm out.
You I know you follow the space stuff close, so you saw that they've now found this fucked everything up. Did you see what happened this week? In the astrophysicist world?
Because no.
They found a universe before the Big Bang. So now they're like, okay, maybe it wasn't the Big Bang. Now the astrophysicists are coming out and saying maybe it wasn't the Big Bang because the space telescope has found, as it keeps traveling,
Yes.
it has now found a universe like 100,000 years pre-Big Bang.
Okay. Can I just say something real quick?
For
about
sure
all
you
this?
can.
This is all bullshit. Like all of this Big Bang, they don't know. They don't know.
They've had to recount. It's so crazy.
And I think to keep us all like interested in it, they got to keep coming up with this new shit. And everybody's like, Big Bang, well, that doesn't make any sense. Smaller than a pinhead exploded and everything came from that. And it's like, well, no, now there's something else beyond
Before
that.
that.
Before that. It's all bullshit. I think it's just all I haven't been following the space stuff either because I think I'm jumping on the bandwagon that space is bullshit. I'm jumping on everything.
I mean, it feels like the whole world's a lie, right? Like it feels like everything's a lie.
Feels like a lie, and it all feels fake. and I'm aggravated.
Every
about it.
every star you know is a lie. Every politician, every preacher that you followed, every family-oriented comedian that's having an orgy,
Right.
every freaking the Big Bang that we had to go for, and then they say, oh, well, maybe it wasn't the Big Bang. After 60 years of it was the Big Bang. And now, look, I know, because I also make this argument that science is in the business of proving itself wrong. That's what makes science great, and that's why we should all engulf ourselves in science a little bit. But it's sure getting interesting everything's getting interesting.
You know
what is real?
You know that I think that we live in a simulation. I think this isn't real.
Well, I do
think
too.
This is a simulation. I think this is a simulation.
This is a simulation.
This is a simulation.
Yeah,
We're in a simulation.
Yes.
It's ones and zeros all around us. They've said that scientifically.
It's now a mainstream theory.
Everything's ones and zeros. And that's why everybody's so back and forth about, is the Earth flat? Is it round? It's neither. We're in a computer program. It's neither.
It's however you perceive it.
It's however you're perceiving it. It doesn't matter. We're on the ground. We're going over a bridge. We're in a 50-story building, and we look out. Looks pretty flat to me. You get up. The select few that get to go up high enough to see curvature. Who are those people? There's a select few.
I'm waiting,
and then they see curvature because it's.
So you think the simulation makes it where we're not. It's not. There's not flat nor round. It's just wherever we're at.
It's your perception.
Yeah, just kind of like you weren't here till I got here, but were you here? Because you thought you were here.
Yeah, it's like this. I'm running down the street, and as the horizon comes at me, it doesn't exist until I perceive it, and it's created.
Right. Yeah,
through that.
I know, which is the wild thing.
You're on the other end of the street, and we're running towards each other, and if we both see the horizon, then it is created in between us. But if we're over here and we both can't see, there's nothing going on right here. It's not being computed.
Yeah.
There's nothing exists.
Yeah.
Is that Schrodinger's cat? Or is that the cat is alive or dead? I don't know. That's something else, I think. But I'm just going with the.
I'm more a simulation bro than I am a flat earther.
I'm more of a simulation guy, but the way I solve the flat Earth thing is
I can't.
Neither if you're in a computer program.
But it is. But I think even in the simulation, it's round.
No. Wait, you gotta. If you play GTA 5, is it round? Is there curvature in GTA 5?
Yeah.
No, there's not.
But it is round.
We should get it. We should. We need to find that out. When you're flying in a plane in GTA 5 and you're going over those mountains and you're doing the valley and all that, did they program curvature?
So what's the? How does the? Here's the deal. Here's the cool thing about. Here's what I think about the simulation that's the coolest to me. People are like, well, what's the end game? Whatever. There is no end. You don't know if you start a simulation, you're not writing how you don't know how it's going to look at the end, right?
Right.
You don't know. There is no. It's an unknown. So we really are figuring it out just like they're figuring it out. No one knows.
The end game is us not finding out that it's a simulation. We die, and then I think we're put back into the simulation. I'm reading a book right now.
So that's like Buddhism meets simulation. Why would you how would you get put back in? Well, is that just no matter what thing we come up to believe in, every person wants to see themselves as eternal? Because I believe your energy's eternal, and there's not like heaven and hell and religious ideology, but your energy lives forever. Is that just my version of trying to be immortal? Like Christianity's version is heaven or hell, and the version you're creating in the simulation. Even in the simulation, you get to come back. Are we all just creating that to give ourselves peace?
No. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm a big reader of David Icke.
Okay.
I should give you a couple of his
Yeah,
books.
for sure. I love to read.
I'm reading his newest book called The Dream.
Okay.
All right? And I'm just going to put it in a very small. I'm just going to lay it out.
Uh-huh.
The Dream is about how fourth dimensional beings, either reptilians and grays, which are kind of an AI. The grays are like an AI being, and the reptilians in the fourth dimension.
Yeah, I'm familiar with all this. Yeah.
Yeah, that they've created this world for us to harvest what he calls loosh.
Yeah, we're just containers, and they bred with us.
Well, they harvest loosh, which is us, which is our anxiety and fear and all these things, because the way the world's set up, when you watch it, everything is all based off of making us hardships for us so they can feed off of that energy from us.
Mm-hmm.
And
so when you figure that out, that's why I stay at peace all the time. Because
you should read this book, because it makes a lot of sense. And he says,
well, it doesn't. It makes a lot of sense to me and you, but it doesn't make a lot of sense. Let's be real. It's like to 98% of people, it doesn't make a lot. To me and you, it makes sense because we're on the spectrum with this shit.
I've read pretty much all of his books, and this is his newest one, and it's really good.
Because we know all the other backstories, this one just makes perfect sense, right? Yeah, of course, Here come the Grays.
So what they call what they call demons and stuff is just these beings that have us trapped here in this three-dimensional world that is a simulation.
Yeah,
and they feed off of us. And when we die, and the body,
or we exit the shell,
when we exit it, we bounce right back in here. And we're just trapped.
So that's why some people think it's reincarnation. They haven't understood. So even in their death experience, those people haven't figured out that it's a simulation yet. They haven't gotten light. So is that the final awakening? Are me and you on the final awakening?
No, this is it forever. So they can harvest our.
But I'm saying
harvest our loosh.
But I'm saying when we die or leave our containers, right?
Right.
You and I, if we're still thinking beings, we would know when we went to where we're like, oh yeah, this is part of the simulation. I'm coming back. Because we figured that out in 2022.
Right, but he says that we don't have the option. We just have to come back. And then everything's wiped because we come into a new
your memory.
body.
Yeah, you come into a new shell. But I'm saying even though we figured it out, since you and I figured it out, that's
right.
we just still keep doing it.
Yep.
There's no stopping it even.
No. I haven't finished the book. Hopefully he kind of.
So that all ties in with all the religious theology ties right into that.
Yeah,
it's all kind of the same story. It's just everybody's own interpretation of how you got to of how you come back, how you get the eternal life, it's all the same story. Even with the alien version,
right?
Even with the Anunnaki. Now, however you do it, even if you do it Christianity, Buddhism, start with the Anunnaki. However you do it, you kind of come to the same thing. Where I'll get to live forever through my understanding of how things work. And really, none of us know a fucking thing.
We don't know a thing. This guy doesn't know a thing either. It's just You'd have to read his book. He's very compelling. I'm sure he's very smart and obvious. And like you said, all the religions tie into it. And you're like, oh no, it's like this because this guy's so smart. Well, he's smart and he knows what all the religions say, so he says it too.
Right.
You know?
On it with but or
he's a big reptilian guy. He's a big fourth dimensional reptilian guy. Like the reptilian people own us. Like,
I guess what I'm leading up to is that if everybody, even if you're a Muslim or a Christian or you're with the Anunnaki or the news story with the Lush, everybody kind of comes to Everybody kind of comes to the same conclusion because we're all victims. And it all says we don't really die. Right. You live forever. Some of them just put caveats on it like, well, you don't if you believe this.
Well, here's the fun.
Where this is saying no matter what, you're coming back to the simulation.
Yeah. So
but you can't go do something else?
Everybody always says like, well, when you die, energy.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Can't go in it, but it's like, yeah, but you were taught that in an institution.
But I think
how do you know that energy just doesn't? How do you know
because
that when we're dead, we're dead? You know what I mean?
Oh, that when you're dead, you're not dead, right?
You're dead, you're dead.
It's just
and there's nothing.
It's just
there's nothing.
It's just like it was.
So get out there and buy that motorcycle.
Every day before 1979, you don't have memory of, right? And everything was fine. The world was going on, but you have no memory of.
I do have weird dreams of being other people.
But from like 1960 or from like 1990?
No, both future and past. Like I have all kinds of.
That's because you have a wild, because your brain's running all the time. Mine is too. So people whose brains run all the time. I don't put any credence in dreams because I dream some wild shit, man. Like, I mean, dreams are dreams.
I've dreamed things that were so real that I thought maybe I woke up from this simulation and was out and about where I shouldn't have been. Like dreams like that. But also, my mind thinks that way. So maybe like as I'm dreaming, my dream's like, let's make it really real. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Like I had a dream one time that I woke up and I was in a basement in a tube, and I got out of this tube and I went up these stairs and I looked in this room where someone was watching a screen that was a TV, but it was like the wall. The whole wall was the TV.
Yeah.
And I was looking and it was me watching it. And I ran out into the carport / whatever into the street, and there were cars that looked like, and this is so real. I remember like how my feet hurt on the pavement of the ground. Like I remember how my feet were hurting.
Did they hurt when you woke up?
No, like they were just hurting as I was running out, and like my feet hurt on the pavement. I get out on the street. And all these people are walking around, and they turn and look at me, and they're all like, oh, no. And they all start, like, with phones or something like phones. We're all pointing them at me. Mm-hmm. And then, like, the cars and stuff in the street.
It's a lot of recall from a dream. It's hard to remember this much detail in a dream.
This is what I'm saying. Like, I have, like, these, like, this is the one I thought that I actually woke up from this.
Yeah.
So, like, the cars in the dream were, like, 50s, 60s looking cars. But like new, like
it was that time period,
like that, like futuristic, 50s cars.
It wouldn't like be like it was the 50s, and those were the new cars that just rolled off.
No, these are like sharp 50s looking cars. That
but they're
be in like the
obviously in the 23rd century or something, right?
Yeah, like that. And then like these people showed up, like cops or whatever, and got me and took me back down into the basement and put me back in my tube. And, like, it was so upsetting to me. And it was like I woke up out of this and I was, like, in a tube for myself. Like, maybe this is what I get from it. Maybe we're all in tubes and, like, you have your real person is harvesting you for parts in a basement. Mm-hmm. And this is something in the future that we're doing. So if like you need,
but it can't be the future if it's now. It's our now.
Yeah, but it's our. But here's the thing.
It's our now.
No, it's our now because we are in a simulation. Because somewhere along the line, some people were like, because you have everybody like what would happen if like aliens showed up? They'd be like, oh, save the aliens. So you have people that are like, hey, these clones of these people, they have minds and stuff. You can't just let them sit in a coma their entire lives. You have to give them something to do, so they put us as clones in simulations.
Mm-hmm.
So like then they harvest whatever we need, and they don't really need it till we're older.
Yeah.
So we're all in like this simulation.
Why don't they need it till we're older?
Because, well, we always live long. Well, we live longer. Some people don't.
Some people don't.
So then they needed it then, and then they're dead.
So it's just like whenever
The
they need my
over.
stuff, it's done for me, right?
You're done. They're done with you.
But then I
They're
come
done with
back.
you. Well, I don't know. This is different. This is a different idea I'm having right here.
This is your idea?
This is from my dream. This
From
is
your
what I
dream?
gathered
Oh,
from
okay.
my
I'm like
dream
I'm trying to
that
follow
was
it.
So real. This is what I've gathered from the dream that was so real. Is like we're a bunch of meat sacks in a simulation.
Why would they need meat sacks in the simulations? That's just because that's what they look like, kind of? They're kind of meat sacks?
You're not following me. The simulation is just like a human rights act.
Yeah, okay.
That they have for us as clones, because we've been cloned and we're in a tube right now somewhere.
We're in a tube. This is your thing or
This
what
is
you really
from my-
think?
this is
From
from
your
my
dream
dream.
or what
This
you
is-
really think?
This is from my dream. This is not what I really think, but this is what I would gather from that dream.
Okay, all right. Now I'm with you.
It was really complicated. So like,
It's complicated, right, Kyle?
Okay, let me put it like this. Let me put it like this. As of right now, you can go. Let's say as of right now, you can go to a scientist or a place and say, I need a clone of me made because later on in life I'm going to need body parts. And they go, no problem. They make you a clone.
Okay.
They go, okay, you got to keep this clone in this, this thing in your basement or wherever. It's good. Or we can keep them here at the thing, but it's going to cost you more to keep them here. You keep it in your basement.
Which is Earth.
Which is Earth.
The
This
tube.
is all Earth.
Yeah.
This is all Earth. So they make a clone. They put it in a tube. They put it in your basement. Whatever. You're like hooked up to shit. So these people come along and they go, hey, you can't just make clones. They may have a soul. They do have a brain.
Yeah.
So they're thinking. And we've done all this research, and clones are people too, motherfucker. So you need to give them something to do. You need to give them a life.
Uh-huh.
So what they do is they write this big program like GTA 5 and stick all of our consciousnesses up to a server
Okay.
that we're all living this life.
Right.
I woke up from that life and went out in the street, and then they put me back. Is all I'm saying about this dream.
Yeah. That's crazy. As hell.
It's not crazy. That seems very relevant.
It does seem
seems
very
like it
relevant.
Hey,
What were the aliens doing in Miami? Were those aliens? They say they're
you
coming.
have to tell me what's going on in Miami with the aliens.
Did you didn't hear anything about it? Wait, what?
No.
Like
no.
nothing?
Well, I've heard something, and then I thought it was bullshit, so I never thought about
Oh
it.
no, they shut the whole city. They shut blocks down. They sent like
Bullshit. It's got to be something for a movie or something, right?
They sent like 300 cop cars, and there's like over 100 witnesses that say they saw 8 to 10 foot
10-foot aliens.
that were. Hey, look, they were shape shifting, Mike. Like they said, it would be here, and then it would be over in the other side of the room. Okay, it would be there, then it'd be 20 yards down the way. Just there's like moving at the speed, and they show up there. They say shadowy. They're a shadow, but not. They're a shadow, but they're solid.
How can you believe this stuff? That's so stupid.
What do you listen? Why did they shut down? Why did they shut down Miami?
Did they? Were you in Miami?
I saw. You can see the aerial photo.
Did you see them shut
Well,
it down?
all the people said they shut it down. Why are you saying all the people are lying?
They're all probably actors.
What do you? They acted. So you think it's a psyop?
Sure. Yes, it's all this alien stuff's a psyop. 100%.
All of it?
Yeah. Yeah, because they're gonna like fake an alien invasion.
Well, that's project whatever it is.
Yeah, they're gonna do it, but they got to ramp up to it. They got to make us all like, oh, did you see the alien shit in Miami?
So you don't believe that there are aliens anymore?
Dude, they put people on the moon. Not.
I know, but you don't. I know there's nothing to do.
Chet, get the net.
But you don't believe there's aliens anymore? You just team no? There's never aliens?
I think all this stuff's coming from the fourth dimension. I'm bought
Fair.
and sold. I'm bought and sold on that.
But there's still aliens here.
That's aliens, but it's dimensional. I think things are too far away from us if you want to believe that there's space out there.
Because they have to fly 3
It's a lot.
trillion light years.
It's a lot.
Which,
And
stay alive.
according to our living 100
according
years.
to our interpretation of time, too.
Right.
We only also believe that you can only make something that can go as fast as the speed of light. And we don't even know how to board something as fast as the speed of light.
Well, that's programmed.
But
that's programmed into our 3D.
But it doesn't mean there's not others. See, so you're all in that space is not real? Or are you just entertaining it as a...
I'm entertaining the fact that it's not real.
I'm entertaining everything, right? I'm open for...
I'm also entertaining the fact that the Earth may not be flat. Let's say space is real. Everything out there is way bigger than us. Maybe the Earth's bigger than what they say, and instead of it being flat, there's other places beyond. Like say the flat Earth model, and they say that Antarctica is around it. Mm-hmm. Maybe past Antarctica, there are other continents past Antarctica.
Well, that's
like what Lieutenant Byrd said.
Well, that's like the start of the Illuminati. That's what all this ties to, right? You understand the rich and power. Like, okay, if you're gonna go take the whole conspiracy and say I'm doing the whole thing, right? Like I'm biting off the whole thing where space is made up. Right. And the Earth is flat, and there's an ice wall around Antarctica, right. And you get out there, and there's all these cities and continents. That's where the gazillionaires live, and the gazillionaires rule everything through Illuminati control inside our version of Earth. But there's actually a place bigger than Earth that exists outside the wall. But all that is lorded over by these billionaire geysers. Okay, that's like kind of the whole synopsis of it. I think the truth.
How does that not sound crazy?
Because
today's standards.
Because I think the truth exists in that story somewhere, right? I believe pieces of that can all be true, but if you start doing that, then you start you stop being a critical thinker at the point you say, I just accept the whole thing, no matter how.
I don't accept the whole thing. Like, these are things I entertain that.
Yeah, I entertain them too. That's how I knew the story, right? Like,
I need to get into a spaceship and get blasted up, however far up it takes, to look at everything, and then I will believe it. I will only believe it then. So. Everybody send me money. Everybody send me money, and I will tell everybody the truth. I promise. And they'd be like, Mike Kugel's full of shit. The Earth's flat. And I'd be like, no, dude, it's round.
It's round, bro. It's round.
Like, fuck you. You went up, and that's bullshit. Illuminati asshole.
You can make a bunch of really compelling videos that can make you believe almost anything if you get deep enough in the wormhole.
Man, I've been pretty deep in the wormhole.
I know.
I'm not talking about the tequila bottle.
And look, hey, I love me a good conspiracy. And I think in every conspiracy theory, there's a good bit of truth. That's what we're seeing now. Like things that were called conspiracy theories aren't really conspiracy theories. They're true. But they're and they use the term conspiracy theory to get people to stop thinking critically.
Right. Okay, so
that's a method of control.
2009 saw the triangle float over my house. Mm-hmm. Made no noise. 2009. That's when I started reading every piece of literature I could get on aliens, on everything,
space, dimensions, shape-shifting, moving universes.
All that stuff. I've read all that stuff. I bought every book. The funny thing is now is like there's only a couple of bookstores. If you go in 2009, when I would go into like a Barnes and Noble, there was a whole section of that stuff. Now,
not so much.
You go into a bookstore. There's one in Meridian. What's the bookstore, babe, in Meridian we go to? Books A Million. You go into Books A Million. That section is this big.
Yeah.
And it only has like just some bullshit in it. I've got 150 books in a storage unit over here that I read that are crazy books. Like that I've got all the books that were written about Sumeria and all that stuff has started on that. But here's the thing. I did it as a hobby. Mm-hmm. It was a hobby, and I was like, this is fun. Conspiracy theory stuff's fun. Now it's like way out of control, and people are like crazy over it. And I was like, and I don't know who said this quote, but it's a great quote, and I didn't come up with it. I'm sure I didn't, because it's really smart. And when you start talking to people about all of this stuff, you say, "Hey, man." When they get, when you blow your friend's mind for the first time.
It's nice just me and you to talk about it because we both know what we're talking about.
Right.
Like we both understand it and don't think we're the other one's nuts.
Right,
Yeah,
right. I'm not nuts, but it's like you get your friend involved in it. He goes and finds something, and he comes back to you, and he's like crazy-eyed about it. But
he's at the beginning. He's at the beginning,
and his mind is blown, and you're like, hey, man, it's good to be open-minded. But not so open-minded that your brain falls out.
Yeah, that's my quote.
Okay, that's not your quote.
That's my quote.
You didn't make that up.
Yeah,
you did not make that up.
100% I did.
No, you didn't, because I've heard it. I've heard somebody else say that quote way before.
Way before I said it years ago.
I'm gonna look it up.
I'm pretty sure that's my quote.
It's not your quote.
I feel like I said it like 15 years ago, and I've always said it. And unless I stole it, if I stole it,
stole it.
I don't think I did.
Because we've heard this conspiracy stuff. So somebody was like,
I really think you heard it from me. I think it's my quote. I'm the only one I've ever known that it said it.
I don't think so. I'm looking it up.
You're going to see me cited as the...
Yeah, that's what I'll see. Yeah, I'm looking it up.
I'm pretty sure no one's ever said that quote but me. And I bet you can go...
I've been saying it for a long time.
Well, I bet if you go back to like episode 1 or 2, I said it on one of those.
I said it before that.
I said it in 05, dude.
Oh, yeah? I was listening to Nirvana before
I really don't think
anybody
anybody else said it because I think it's my quote. I really believe that in my heart.
Are you serious?
Yes. But I could be totally...
It's not your quote.
You found it?
I'm telling you it's not your quote. Hold
on. You said it exactly as I say it.
Well, I said it exactly as the smart guy that said it. Okay, so quote by this Chesterton guy. G.K. Chesterton says, "Don't be so open-minded that your brain falls out."
Okay, then I got it from him. When did he say it?
He said it.
It's going to be like 1880. Then be like, yes.
Let's see. When did he say that? Now I'm seeing that. Hold on.
If it's any time after like 07, I'm going to go ahead and take credit.
There's a bunch of people.
There's a bunch of people that said it. So obviously we all had the same thought. Or I obviously read.
No, this guy's older than you, by the way. Just keep the picture.
Yeah. Okay.
So a bunch of people.
I read it from him, or I read it from whoever originated the quote. I think it's a great quote too.
There's a couple of iterations that say, "I believe in an open mind, but not so open that your brain falls out."
Yeah.
That was Arthur Sulzberger of Sulzberger Burgers.
So it's
in Oakland.
But the quote, you really have to think about that quote every time.
No, that's just okay. Whoever said it first it's a good thing. Like quote. If your friends get involved in like this conspiracy theory stuff, and they're like fourth dimensional reptilians, and like they're all on the Illuminati agenda, or 9/11, blah, 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 and then they're gonna have this. And I've played the card game, and I've seen the cards where they're gonna do alien invasion. You go, oh. It's good to be open-minded.
Just start biting it off in chunks and then start dissecting the chunks.
Not so open-minded that your brain falls out.
Yeah, but now we have reached critical mass where, man, that sounds really crazy and it makes a lot of sense at the same time on a lot of stuff, right? As you're going into but why can't we just go to Antarctica?
I will tell you this. We can't go to Antarctica because, first of all, it's illegal to go to Antarctica. I don't even think there's anybody in Antarctica. I think all that's done somewhere else. I think that's all bullshit.
Yeah, like you keep going away from Antarctica for hundreds of miles, and it gets like this lush.
Well, what's the parallel that you can't go past? There's a parallel that if you go past, they're on you. I've watched this so many times and read about this.
Yeah, me too.
People leave from South America going to Antarctica and they get somewhere in like a battleship.
Ninth parallel or whatever it is.
A battleship shows up and like, where turn around, and if they like get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, because there's like 52 countries dedicated to protecting Antarctica at all costs.
So what's that all about?
Why? How did you can't get 52 countries to agree that murder's bad, right? But all of a sudden they can agree that no one goes to Antarctica, no one discovers there. We fight anyone that comes, we kill anyone who goes too far. What is that about?
I think it's about.
I don't think it has anything to do with. I don't think it has anything to do with a flat Earth. I think it has something to do with something else nefarious. But they lied about history, right? They lied about.
I think if you'll go look at Admiral Byrd, look up Admiral Byrd and his television where he said that he went past Antarctica.
I did. I've read that whole. I've seen the whole thing.
Well, for the audience.
Yeah, you tell it.
Of 80 people.
Maybe 156 this week. You never know.
This week, maybe. But just Admiral Byrd, look up, and he says that there is a continent past Antarctica as big as North America. Beautiful, full of resources. So that's why I think Antarctica might be a band or bigger. Or there's something past it. Because obviously they could just tell us. Even, let's say we're on a globe, right? Okay, so we're on a globe. Who's to say there's not something on the other side of Antarctica from straight down from south? They would never tell us if there was something there where it's like where
that's what I'm saying.
Where Kurt Cobain is. It's like where Michael Jackson is. It's like where you get to go once you become like this huge thing and you've done everything you can and you go there and live the rest of your life in like just bliss. I don't know. Is there a bliss? There's no bliss.
There's probably maybe.
I will tell you this. There is something for everyone. There's something for everyone. Because, like you said, people will believe anything.
Yeah.
And
anything can be made convincing, told by the right. You get the right person.
My proof for that is I've had 432 monthly listeners this month.
Go Hinkle.
And don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, don't care. Like, haven't tried to do anything.
At all.
Yeah. I haven't put out a song in 2 months. That's because I don't have my studio. I've got one in the chamber. I just got to finish it. But 432 monthly listeners on a nobody pop punk bullshit.
It's pretty cool, though. It's fun.
It's fun, but that's weird. That's so funny to me. I look up.
You must be getting put on some playlist or something.
I've been put on a couple of playlists.
Yeah.
There's a radio playlist I'm on a lot, and a couple of the. Here's the thing. I know a couple people that are on Spotify too, and they're like one of them's a punk band, one of them's somebody else. They have like 8 monthly listeners.
Yeah,
and they've been doing it longer than me.
The average is 4.
The average is 4. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm 432 at the moment, and I've actually made a little bit of money.
About what, $12?
$12.
I guessed it right.
You guessed it right.
Figured about 12,000 spins.
Yeah, $12.
Yeah.
How about that? I just created that money.
Yeah.
It's been created out of nothing.
You're a genius, and now you're a $12 an air.
It's so funny because, like, I saw a meme that said Taylor Swift has 20-some songs that have the exact same chord progression, and then underneath it is, like, punk musicians are like...
Yeah.
It's the same shit
over
and over again. It's music. There's only so many things you could do with music.
But that's what makes it amazing when people do something. You're like, it's the same. You got the same number of strings, the same chords, the same keys, and they make something new and creative.
Do you want to hear something weird that I read?
Yeah.
They changed. I'm gonna get none of this right. It's called Know Nothings, right? Yeah. Years ago, I'll just say years ago, they changed standard tuning of 432 to 444. Mm-hmm. So everything you hear right now is in 440, not 444, 440, but it was 432. Mm-hmm. And they said that this is the conspiracy theory that the Illuminati changed it from 432 to 440.
Yep, I've heard
because 440 makes you more agitated. They're learning now that vibrations have lots to do with control of our bodies and our thinking and all this stuff, and they knew that back then, so they changed it. Well, do you know something? What I did like a year ago.
What's
Me
that?
and Kim recorded a couple of cover songs.
Yeah.
And I did them in 432, and everyone will tell you that you can't tell the difference.
But you can.
You can't tell I tuned everything to 432 and we did it. There were known songs like, and when you listen to them, it just kind of aggravates you. Like it's agitating because you're used to hearing things in a different.
But 440 is the agitation one.
But you've been hearing 440 for so long, you hear the other one and it's odd.
Yeah.
You would have to, you'd have to be conditioned again to 432 because that is kind of a harmonious.
Mm-hmm. Even
vibration.
that little bit of standard tuning deviation.
They just changed a little bit to throw everybody off. So everything, I believe that everything is created to throw us off and make us uncomfortable.
Yeah.
We should have 13 months.
Yep, that's true. That is true.
There's 13 things. We should have 13 months.
13 astrological signs.
And a day of rest. A day where there's nothing. There's 13 months and one day where it's not in the count. Like it's a day that is not there.
Yeah.
So that makes a perfect 13 calendar. And that's
13-month calendar. 28-day, 13-month calendar, right?
28 days, 13 months, one
day
day
of nothing.
Which is the reset day.
Mm-hmm. And the New Year is supposed to be in the spring.
The
New Year's in the spring.
Right. So like
because when everything's blooming and coming new, that's what the New Year is.
They've done everything to throw us off. Like our body, like how we sleep and all that and everything, and all that is done to like throw us off. I've read so many of these conspiracy and things. I know a little bit about.
Everything. I know a lot about. I know a little about a bunch of shit.
Yeah. And like all of this stuff, and it's funny to see like on TikTok everybody talking about all of this stuff now.
Yeah.
After I've read it already
all these years
10 years ago.
But it's
10 years.
It's
like
cool to see more people awake to it.
See people awake to it. But what do we do about it? Nothing. There's nothing you could do about it.
Being knowledgeable about it and having more people knowledge about it does open eyes and does change.
We tried to storm the Capitol and it didn't work. No, I'm
Don't
kidding.
say we.
I'm not
Do
saying
not say we.
It's a joke. It is a joke.
And with that,
hey, everybody, it's a joke. It's what you got to say nowadays.
Get off me.
Get off my ass.
I think we're over that. I think we're past the apology.
It wasn't a joke when they did it. They shouldn't have done it, but it's a joke.
I think that's going to die in 2024 also.
Yeah.
Everything, you can't tell a joke. You can't be, everything's inappropriate. Everything's racist. Everything's all that dumb shit's going away.
All the greats that have put out specials in the past couple of months are really attacking all that dumb bullshit.
Yeah.
So it's really good. They're really coming after it. Like
it needs to go. That whole culture needs to go of everything being offensive.
Have you watched Dave Chappelle's new one?
Yeah,
he just gets off of that and goes into like handicap, or well, it's not called handicap anymore. Disabled people, and it's like he just and he's not really attacking those people. He's just showing how ridiculous it is.
You ought to be able to make a joke about anything.
Make a joke about anything.
Comedy and all art. Comedy and music, you got to stop. You can't cancel people for doing their thing. And same thing with podcasts, comedians, anything.
Right.
People get to make jokes and have fun and have an opinion.
And then I got the new Louis C.K. one where he just sells his stuff now online, and he probably makes more money than he
probably owns it himself. And
he owns it himself. He sells it to you through his website, his stand-ups. Specials
online,
so he makes so much more money than he would if he was doing that. Because you know what happened with Louis C.K., right? Like he got canceled because he was like jerking off in front of a woman that was like an underling of whatever. So it's like she didn't leave the room. I mean, if I walk in a room and somebody's jerking off in front of me and like, is this okay? It's like, no, and I would leave. And I don't think that it would affect, but they said that it was like he was her boss.
Like he was jerking off and she just walked in the office or something, and then he kept going.
So she was like, anyway. So he just he got canceled. So like he sells all of his stuff online, which he's like one of my favorite comedians. He's hilarious.
Yeah, he's good.
I mean, he's really smart. So like he was going after it on this one, and everybody should probably check that out.
I forgot about the jerking off thing, but
yeah, he did that.
Hey, a lot of stuff going on in Hollywood, but we will see y'all at episode 54. I've got to sign off, and I got to get home for eat something.
All right.
We'll see you guys later.
Bye.